Cats are mysterious, aloof, and generally too proud to admit they need help. They're tiny, fluffy aristocrats in fur coats who'd rather pretend they meant to fall off the windowsill. But the truth is, your cat asks you for help more than you might think. But it's so easy to miss that most owners never even realize it. And when you overlook it, that's when the real damage happens. When grooming isn't just for cleanliness. You see your cat grooming after a loud noise, a sudden movement, or after you accidentally use the vacuum within a 3-mile radius of their fluffy little face. Most people think, "Oh, they're fine. Look how calm they are." Unfortunately, that's false. This habit is an example of what's called displacement behavior, a phenomenon common to all emotional creatures, including cats, including humans. This might be a weird way of putting it, but it's kind of like an emotional smoke bomb, a way of distracting themselves from how they feel. Cats groom themselves when they're stressed as a way to self-soothe. Think of it like you're calming yourself down when you're in the middle of an argument, but suddenly brushing your teeth. You're not doing that because of your commitment to dental hygiene, are you? No, you're panicking in mint. According to proper feline behaviorists Pam Johnson-Bennett and Sarah Ellis, this kind of behavior is your cat saying, "I'm nervous, I need to feel safe, and I hope you are secure enough emotional beanbag for me to do this next to." So if your cat starts grooming after something stressful, don't dismiss it. Don't assume it's nothing or just a weirdly timed bath. Offer a calm presence, sit nearby, speak softly. And if you are aware of what stressed them out, try not to repeat it for at least a little while. For example, if vacuuming freaked them out, maybe wait before turning it back on. Pausing for permission. Though sometimes it's not about what your cat does, but more what they don't do, by which I mean weirdly lingering and waiting before they do something. It's not the something they do that counts, but more the odd gap before they do. Ever notice your cat stare at you before leaping onto a shelf? Or glance your way before approaching a stranger? That's not a weird pause, for no reason. However, it is not a coincidence or random. It's a form of social referencing. A 2015 study by Merola et al. Found that cats look to their humans for emotional cues in new situations. Essentially, they're evaluating your face to gauge how you feel about the problem. When your cat hesitates and checks your reaction, it's as if they're asking, "Should I be worried?" Your response becomes the user manual for navigating reality. If you stay calm, they learn it's safe. If you shriek, they'll launch themselves into the stratosphere like a tiny furry missile. Because if their trusted pet parent is panicking, so should they. So when you catch your cat pausing and glancing at you, they're asking for help making sense of the world. Be the cool cucumber they need. That's a teachable moment. Be sure to teach them what you want them to learn. The mid-play exit. Now let me remind you of something you are no doubt familiar with. Something every pet parent to feline friends will be all too familiar with. You are playing with your cat. The string toys are flying. The butt wiggles are happening. For them, not you. But then, at the peak of fun, your cat suddenly storms off like you've offended them. Mood killer? Maybe. But more likely, your cat is simply trying to regulate its emotions. This is yet another example of displacement behavior. When a cat suddenly disengages during play, it may mean the situation has become too intense. You didn't do anything wrong. It's not your fault. Remember, cats are much more sensitive than we humans. Sensations and experiences that you might think are pleasing may be overwhelming to them due to their heightened sensitivity to the world. So when they suddenly bolt mid-play session or snuggle time, it may well be a sign of them quietly panicking. Removing themselves from an environment or situation they find to be a bit too much is how cats prevent overstimulation and potential aggression. And I must be honest, I think this is one of the things humans can learn from cats. If more of us were better at stepping away from situations that are starting to be a bit too much, perhaps fewer of us would have unnecessary arguments. When your cat does this, they're telling you they want to be alone for a moment. More than that, it means they need to be alone. So respect their space. Don't force more interaction. Just let them recalibrate. Then maybe try again later. The stand-stare strategy. Although running and scampering are not the only ways your cat communicates with you, sometimes they don't bother to move at all. It's all about being stationary to send a message. Cats are creatures of routine. Change one thing, and they suddenly act like you've committed the worst of crimes. And they will express this by parking themselves at the scene of the so-called crime and giving you a fierce stare. If your cat stands silently near a closed door, they usually access, or next to a litter box that used to be clean, or in the hallway where the sunbeam used to shine, and then they just stare at you. That's not random. That's a summoning. They're sitting by something they want you to fix and are saying, excuse me, this right here, can you fix this? Like, now? They're asking you for your help, not with meows, with eyes, pure judgmental eye beams. Some experts in all things cat, such as Dr. Mikel Delgado and Jackson Galaxy, whose name I never tire of, stress the importance of having a routine for cats. Sacred. When something breaks that routine, they need someone to restore order. And who better than you? In these moments, you're not just their owner or pet parent. You're their personal chaos management consultant. So when you spot your cat doing this, analyze the immediate surroundings and try to figure out what's perturbing them. Closed door? Time to open. Box full of poop? Time to scoop it. Blinds closed? Keeping the lovely warm sunbeams out? Time to open them. That's how you'll restore peace. Otherwise, you might find yourselves glared at for eternity. The weird meow you haven't heard before. Cats are known for their meows, chirps, and trills, and sometimes the occasional screech that sounds like a banshee who works part-time as a heavy metal singer. Each cat is unique, and you get used to your cat's selection of sounds. But then sometimes, your cat will crack out a vocalization you've never heard before. A brand new sound unlike any other. It sounds off, mid-range, oddly emotional. According to a study by Macomb et al. In Current Biology, cats evolved these vocal patterns specifically to manipulate us. Yes, really. This isn't just random noise. It's targeted communication designed to pierce your soul and make you open a can of food. But it's not always about food. Sometimes it's about needing reassurance, companionship, sadly, maybe even help. So when your cat sounds weirdly sincere, pause. When your cat unleashes an all-new noise you're not used to them making, don't just assume they're hangry. They may be seeking emotional or environmental support. Close, but not cuddling. When your cat hovers near you, say on the same couch cushion, but not touching, or snoozing at the end of your bed like a sentinel, they might not just be relaxing. They might be recharging. Using your presence as a battery pack, it is the most complimentary of compliments. Cats often nap close to the beings they trust most. However, this positioning can be more than just a comfort for them and a compliment for you. It can be strategic, a way of saying, I'm not ready for contact right now, but I need the option of you, should I change my mind soon. This is comfort by proxy. What's your job in this situation? Stay still. Don't reach out unless invited. Be the emotional hot water bottle they can lean on without smothering them. It's not clinginess. It's best described as cautious affection. And yes, it's a way of asking for low-key help regulating their nervous system. The yawn then stare combo. In humans, yawning is often associated with boredom or tiredness, but in cats, we find it cute. However, the truth is more complicated than that. Cats yawn when they're sleepy, sure, but they also yawn when they're unsure, anxious, or trying to diffuse tension. That makes yawning yet another displacement behavior. And when a direct stare at you follows it, take that as a formal invitation. In that moment, your cat is saying to you, I'm uncomfortable, but I'm here. Are you going to help settle this vibe? And settle the vibe you should. Pet them gently, speak softly, or just offer a grounding presence. But here's what most people miss. Cats don't just show trust. They choose their person. And if your cat does this one thing, it means they've already made their choice. Watch this next.